Hi, welcome to Friends Call Me Jules. I'm Jules, and today's conversation is going to be about cartilage piercings. And the reason that I chose to have this conversation about cartilage piercings is because one, I enjoy them. I enjoy them, and I started getting them after I turned 50. How many years after? I don't know. Maybe I'll tell you how old I am at some point. I don't know. Maybe I'll be inspired in this video, but let's just say after 50, I started getting cartilage piercings. And I have to say that I really enjoy them. And when I was deciding on whether to get one and where I wanted it placed, I did do some research and I seem to have found like maybe I wasn't looking in the right place, but all the videos that came up were at least like 3 years old, or some even 6 or 7 years old. Nothing that was like 6 months old or 1 year old. And not that I didn't find any, but just the majority of the cartilage piercings were older videos. And possibly I was looking in the wrong place because now that I use TikTok a little more, I'm seeming to, of course, the algorithm really feeds you, and I'm seeming to find a lot of cartilage piercing videos. But I wanted to make this one specifically as someone who is not young, as in young, and I guess maybe to some degree we're all following a trend, but not young as in like teens, late teens, early 20s. I mean, I can't speak to, let's say a 30-year-old body or even a 40-year-old body, but from the perspective of you're literally like creating a wound deliberately, to adorn yourself. And cartilage heals different than flesh, like, a lobe piercing. So the way that I believe, let's say, a 50-year-old or maybe, like I said, 40-year-old body is definitely going to heal differently than an 18-year-old, 19-year-old younger body. So that was my motivation for creating this video. And also, another reason that I wanted to create this video was because I wanted to take the stigma away from doing fun things, maybe trendy things, maybe to some people it may be considered like edgy as you get older. And I think that's important because middle age brings a new beginning. I remember when I was younger, to imagine middle age was almost unimaginable. So here I am now, and one of the things that I find is that I'm the same person. Like on the inside, I feel the same as I did when I was 20 or 30, or in my 40s. Obviously, you have your journey in life, you have your career path. Maybe life knocks you around a little bit, but I do believe, and from my experience and just the experience from my peers, is that at your core, you stay who you are. So I I don't want to call myself conservative. I do have conservative tendencies. I am particular about the status quo, but not to the extent that I'm such a straight arrow that I won't allow myself to have free thinking or try something different or experience different, let's say, lifestyles, social groups. So, with that being said, like why get pierced or why get a tattoo or why do something like that at middle age? And for me, part of it was I'm established in what I'm doing. When I was younger, I actually have a couple of tattoos. I have one, two, three tattoos, and I got them in places that you cannot see them because it's unprofessional. In my in my youth, that was unprofessional to have tattoos. Now tattoos, cartilage piercings, they all seem to be mainstream, whereas many years ago it was attached to a particular lifestyle. So now, people do have more freedom of expression, and what's considered professional and unprofessional has changed. I can't help the way that I'm built and what drives me. So again, there still is a teeny bit of like conservatism, but at the same time, um, I'm edgy too. I have like another side. It's like Jekyll and Hyde, right? So yes. So I think I reached middle age. I don't know if I was having a crisis, but I just kind of said, you know what? I want to do some fun thing. I want to adorn myself. I want to have something about me that just makes me stand out. And I chose for it to not be more tattoos, but I chose cartilage piercings. So with that being said, um, I have a total of 13 piercings. I have six on this ear and seven on this one. And as you can see, I'll just turn around again. So I have a doff. I have two higher lobe piercings that I turned into an orbital. I have two lobe piercings and created a stack. And on this side, which is actually my right ear, I have a forward helix here. I have a conch. I have two high lobe piercings. I have two lobe piercings and a stacked piercing. I'm going to try and get a little closer. Hopefully, it doesn't make the camera kind of do a jig, but I'm going to get a little closer so maybe you can see them. So here I am, and there is right ear. And why am I moving in slow motion? And there is left ear. So I'll tell you what made me choose the cartilage piercings that I did. The doth is my most recent piercing. It is almost 4 months old and I love it. It's hard for me to say that it's my favorite, but oh, it just might be. I don't know. And of course, I don't have like fancy jewelry in it. I just wanted something simple and easy for it to heal out. I didn't want to have to try and like care for it behind, big adornment or fancy stones. So just something simple to let it heal out. And then I'll decide and I'll window shop because there's so much amazing doff jewelry. And on this ear, the forward helix is actually the first cartilage piercing that I got. My daughter actually got a cartilage piercing, and when I saw her get hers, I was like, oh my God, that's so cute. I think I want one, right? And now I don't care. Like, whatever I'm gonna do for work in my career, like it's done. It's a done deal at my age, so I don't have to worry about whether it's appropriate for work or not. Obviously, maybe social circles that you're in, and even professional circles or networking circles, it's kind of not a big deal anymore. And of course, I think the environments that I'm in are definitely more open minded and more liberal. So it just kind of doesn't matter. But with these piercings, I can always pare them down depending on what environment I'm in, because that still does matter to me. Sometimes you do have to be appropriate for the environment that you're in. But again, it's not tied to self esteem. It's not tied to a judgment on my identity or my lifestyle. It's just, you know, I think just sometimes that's just the way it is in life. And maybe that's of my generation, but that is what I do believe. And I don't feel restricted by it or confined in some kind of ideology by it. I just think that, again, my generation is just something that you're used to be appropriate for the environment that you're in. So I think these allow me to do that, right? I can kind of morph and um, present myself, in the way that I want pretty easily. So again, forward helix, I can always change out that big earring for something teeny tiny, barely noticeable. Same thing with this conch, I can always do something small. Earlobe piercings are always easy to just kind of take out. But I'm sorry, I think I did get off track. I'm going to go back to the forward helix. So the forward helix, this was my first cartilage piercing. Again, my daughter got one and I thought it was just so cute. And I started just looking on social media and just online at cartilage piercings. And that's what I chose because it's different, definitely unique. You don't see this placement like every day. So that's why I chose that. And the conch was the next piercing that I really liked. And that was my second cartilage piercing. And I decided to get these high lobes here because I'm a symmetrical person. And these two, um, this orbital here and these two higher lobe piercings, when I was a teenager, I actually wanted to do something different. I thought I was being edgy. I was probably like 14 at the time. And I had the two lobe piercings. And I said to myself, oh, I'm going to get four piercings here, to make me stand out, So I would have, and that was like the 80s when, you know, um, hip hop, big bangle, um, big bamboo earrings, and I'm saying bangle, but I remember my bangle bracelets and the rope chains and the rope chain. So yeah, so I had all of that. So yeah, big bamboo earrings on the front two lobes, and then smaller earrings on this on these two higher lobes, and then again asymmetrical, but symmetry, I don't know, was important to me now. And so when I would look at myself face forward, I had something here and it just felt like a big blank space here. And that's why I got these two higher lobe piercings. But back to why I chose the cartilage piercings that I did. And I feel like I keep like cartilage. Oh my God, it's like a tongue twister. But anyhow, the biggest thing for me is sleep. I am a side sleeper and I did struggle with this one. This one still gets angry at me. I think it's been about 3 years. I don't think it's four, but I think it's been about 3 years. And sometimes the forward helix still gets angry if I roll over on it. I do have a piercing pillow that I sleep with sometimes. I will put a picture of it, somewhere above me when I edit. But yeah, so once I had this and I realized like, oh wow, I'm really having a hard time sleeping because I'm a side sleeper, and of course I can sleep on this side, but I also toss and turn. I'm just really not the best sleeper. So I did want more piercings. And so I decided to choose piercings that may not have so much contact, right? So contact with pillows or contact with my hair. I do wear glasses sometimes, so no contact, although I love a flat and I'm tempted to get a flat here, but no contact with eyeglasses when I'm taking them on and off. So yeah, I just wanted to decide on something that would be more out of the way so that I can heal it easier and I will get to the healing. So I decided on the conch. Conch is cute. The earrings that you can put in the conch are fabulous. I love the whole ring that you can put, the hoop that you can put in the conch. And one day I will have that. And so the conch piercing was second. And the doff, my daughter and I did, it is kind of early 2026. And this was our New Year's Eve kind of thing that we did, closing out 2025. We literally, I think it was like maybe not New Year's Eve. It was probably like December 30th that we were like, let's do this for the new year. Let's go get pierced. I want a doff. She said, I want one too. And we both went and got one. And maybe I'll put the picture there. So doth piercing also, from what I've read, people say that they can sleep on that, on the side that they have a doth, and they can sleep on it relatively quickly. Now, I don't suggest sleeping on cartilage piercings. That's not really my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal is to be able to sleep on my back. And I actually want to learn how to sleep on my back comfortably to where it's second nature. Like now, I'm still adjusting to sleeping on my back. I do want it to be second nature, not only for the piercings, but because I think that that's the best position to sleep in. at my age, you do get sleep wrinkles. Like that's really a real thing. Like I've gone to sleep and had a rough night and mushed my face up, and next thing I know, I wake up in the morning and I have a line, and I have like, and my face is like, you know, puffy with lines here and there. And so it's just better for your skin. It's better for aging. And not that I'm like a super crazy anti aging person. I'm getting, I'm kind of digressing, but I want to begin to train myself to comfortably and naturally sleep on my back. So again, I'm not suggesting that you get cartilage piercings in hopes of one day sleeping on your ear, because that may not be possible, because you may irritate the piercing. It might heal or be healed, and you sleep on the piercing and it gets angry. And what is an angry piercing? It's a piercing that's like you touch it and it's tender to the touch, right? It just feels tender. Or maybe you get a little bit of swelling, or sometimes a little bit of lymphatic fluid. And so even after a piercing has been healed, or maybe after, a couple of years, even a piercing can still get grumpy. So with that being said, again, still try to choose piercings that, or the newer piercings inside of my ear, more so inside of my ear, that doesn't get as much contact. And if I do happen to roll over on them, it wouldn't be as bad as if I had like, helix piercings and flats. And again, this is just my account. This is not other people's account. This is my experience, just because I'm a bad sleeper. I toss and turn. I'm also older, so the healing time I definitely think is different. And what I'm going to say to that is, my daughter gets pierced. She's 19. She started getting piercings at 18, and she doesn't have a lot. She has a high helix, she has the doff, and she has just a typical helix here. And she's a back sleeper anyway, but if she rolls on her side, she sprays the saline, she forgets to spray the saline, she's really a person who heals her piercings, kind of leaving it the hell alone. And in some ways that's good, because yes, you should just leave them alone. Your body knows what to do, your body knows how to heal. But then at the same time, you do have to take care of it. Like, she has had piercing bumps, but not awful, like that they look so bad that she should take them out. But she has had, some piercing bumps and probably some irritation, but she really doesn't pay any attention to them. So I don't think that her piercings ever really get tender. I don't think that they get irritated in the way that mine do. So it's almost like some of mine have not fully healed, even though they kind of are. So, for example, Doth, going to be 4 months old at the end of this month. And sometimes I accidentally roll over on it. I got sick maybe 3 weeks ago, and I was down for like a week and a half. Some kind of flu, something, upper respiratory infection. And I was sleeping so hard. I mean, the kind of sick that makes you sleep all day for days. And I was rolling over on that piercing. And so now I'm dealing with a little bit of irritation, small piercing bumps, small, a little bit of drainage. So it's giving me trouble, and it's a little disappointing because it was doing so well before that. But I just have to leave it alone. And it's so early in the process that that's normal. So I'm not worried about it. Now, forward helix, when I kind of take a peek, like kind of, if I kind of do, press my ear and look up under it in the mirror, I can tell when it's irritated and when it's doing great, by whether it's has any swelling or if it has any lymphatic fluid. I think this one, I would consider this one healed, but it did take a long time, maybe like 2.5 years. But part of that, of course, is I am not a good sleeper. So someone who's a better sleeper may heal it better than I'm healing it. So now it just gets angry, it just gets grumpy. But after the grumpy period, maybe a little bit of swelling, maybe, like I said, a little bit of lymphatic fluid, in like about 2 days, it's back to normal. So I would probably consider this one healed, and I would say that maybe it took like about 2 years for me to consider it healed, maybe 2.5 years. The conch, I've had this, I believe it's about a year, maybe a year and a half, and it gets angry sometimes because again, I sleep horrible. Again, I got sick, when I got sick. And what it'll do is it'll swell a little bit and it will get the crusties, and it will go down, but it takes longer than the forward helix to kind of go down and, look like healthy skin underneath it. And so, yeah, so about the year and a half mark. So I'm going to assume that if I can stay off of it and stay on my back and not irritate it, that it should probably heal out nicely, like all the way where I can have like those beautiful healed holes that you may see. Um, and it should be good probably in another 6 months. What I will say about high lobes like this, they sometimes will get irritated because it's so close to cartilage. So these two are pierced in my lobes, but the highest one is closer to cartilage. So if I sleep bad, if I accidentally, kind of do one of these things, then the highest one gets irritated. And the lowest one, the second one, the lower one, is okay. So again, that's because it's closer to well, oh my God, what was that? That's because God, that's because it's closer to cartilage. That's funny. I may not even edit that out. That's hilarious. That was like I was choking. But I hope I don't wind up somewhere on the internet as a freaking meme, right? But yeah, so um, this one, yes. So the upper um, high lobe will get angry sometimes because it's close to cartilage. But I think also in about 6 months, with it just like leaving it the hell alone, it should be fine. So I think I had these two upper lobes for about a year. I got them about 6 months after the conch. And the high lobes, interestingly, high lobes, and I won't attribute this to my own body and possibly to age. And again, what I mean by age is that, it's all dependent on your immune system. I mean, there are different variables, like how many piercings do you have? I'm sorry, how many piercings are you healing at one time? Um, your general health, your own immune system. Some people have a really strong immune system, they never get sick, and other people, maybe struggle in other ways. Your immune system, obviously, your care, how you care for the cartilage piercings, and how you sleep. So those are like the main factors. And your aftercare, your saline solution, not doing too many crazy things to it, not over cleaning it. I'm an over cleaner. I didn't mention that. I'm an over cleaner. And what that means that I will take a pointed Q-tip and I'll get in there and I'll try to just kind of get a little bit of that crust off, or I'll try to dry off a piercing so there's not too much moisture in there, and I'll just kind of, I see crusties and I'm a crust picker because I'm paranoid about someone just happening to look at my ear and go, "Ew, gross, what is that?" Like, so yeah, you may have a little dirty ear, but you're not dirty. It's just your body and healing out these piercings. It's kind of like, imagine like when you get a scrape, a cut, you get a scab or it oozes, same thing, but it's just in your ear. So don't do that. Don't do that. And it's I should follow my own advice, and I am beginning to follow my own advice because I really want this to heal out. I don't want this to take like 2 years to heal, especially because it's in such a hidden place. Like, it's so tucked in there that, again, there's really no contact. There's no accidental contact with your hair. There's no earring back to, catch your hair, or if you go to a hairdresser and they accidentally bump into it. Like, this should heal out so sweet. So I really want to, I'm really restraining myself to not over clean so that my body can just do what it needs to do and heal this one out. So I think what I was saying before I digressed again, second time, was the high lobes, these little guys here. Oh, sorry, guys. Okay. So high lobes. My high lobes gave me trouble. They would do the same thing any other piercing would do, and that would be like sometimes get tender, sometimes lymphatic fluid, which lymphatic fluid is kind of, I don't want to call it clear, but it's like clear liquid, and when it dries, it's like a yellow crust, right? So lymphatic fluid. Um, Mine would sometimes bleed. Like if I slept on it, it would just get irritated and it may bleed a little bit. And so, even though the high lobes are lobe piercings, sometimes they do take a little longer to heal. And I would say it was about a year before mine healed out. So, I was surprised, and I did do a little bit of internet research, and it seems like that's kind of typical for a high lobe to kind of give you trouble. Sometimes it's because it's close to cartilage, sometimes it's just because it's closer to other piercings and earrings. You can imagine if you're sleeping or, it just kind of bumps into it. So it was kind of good to know that it wasn't uncommon, because that did kind of confuse me, and it was a little cause for concern as to why am I not healing out high lobe piercings well. So these are my piercings, and I don't think I want any more, although I was told and tempted by a piercer to put a high lobe here, which would be beautiful with a dangle, and a flat here. And of course, I'm in the store, and I have the little, I don't even know what to call it, but what you use to hold up to your ear so you can see what it would look like. And it was beautiful. So I don't know if I'm going to do that. It's just years of healing. So when you get cartilage piercings, just know that you're in it for the long haul. They're addicting, just like tattoos are addicting. They are beautiful, but you are in it for the long haul, as opposed to like a tattoo. You get the tattoo, you care for it, and after that initial care period is over, the tattoo is healed. You don't have to think about it. Cartilage piercings are different. You do have to think about them. You do have to care for them. You do have to consider when you're sleeping. Um, and yeah, you have to make accommodations for them. You have to be really ready to care for them and to baby them sometimes. So, but again, I chose to get cartilage piercings to adorn myself later in life, because I just wanted to feel kind of, I guess maybe, like feeling nostalgic of my youth, of when I would maybe do something edgy or do something fun, or after years of, just working, my main focus being childcare. And so now, here I am in my 50s, in middle age, and it's like, oh, I'm a whole person. I'm a whole person, and what do I like, and what do I want to do, and what are my interests, and do I want to reinvent myself, um, and also, what is it like today, right? Like every person, I mean, depending on what generation you're in, right? We have our own memories of what it was like entering young adulthood. And so, and even what society is like. So now in my 50s, I now see again so many young people. People are so much more open minded, and it's a good time. It's now is the time to have a good time. I think young people are having a good time, and I think us Gen Xers are having a good time. There's less social pressure. I would imagine that in prior generations, to remain like young at heart and then to physically look just as young as you feel on the inside, that's something that we have now that possibly, our parents did not have. So that is the reason why when I hit, I don't know, again, I don't know, maybe I was having a midlife crisis, who knows, but whatever it was, when I was having it, And I felt like I wanted to do something fun for myself, something that made me feel good, something that when I looked at myself, I was like, oh, I'm cute. I'm cute. Look, that's cute. That's cute. I'm cute. So that's what I chose to do, the piercings, because I felt like they were less permanent and more flexible than tattoos. Although I love tattoos. When I run into people, when I see people, not run into people, when I see people with tattoos, I love to like look at their art. I always wonder what was the inspiration for the tattoos. In some ways, I wish I was, I don't want to say brave or courageous enough to get tatted, but I think it's pretty neat. I think it's pretty neat. So anyhow, my piercing video, it was an overview. I will do an individual video on individual piercings to describe pain level, uh, first impressions, and the journey of healing and the aftercare. So I will do individual videos for each one because I'm sure people are considering piercings and maybe they want to know. But this was mostly about having piercings, also being older, getting piercings, and deciding to do body modification at an older age. And so I just wanted to show you my piercings, show you that we can be cute and we can be beautiful and we can be edgy and we can do fun things and we can, the young people, they're not the only ones having all the fun. We're having fun too, and I'm going to keep having fun. I'm going to be one of those ladies that's going to be like 80 years old, 70 years old in the gym. I'm telling you right now, that's where I'm headed. That's where I'm headed because, I want to age gracefully. I want to be able to do, everything that my heart desires because again, when you reach a certain age, you don't become old. Your body is aging, but your soul does not become old. You are the same person, just with more wisdom, more practicality, but you are still inherently yourself. So I was always, kind of mindful of, professionalism and being appropriate. That's how I was raised. I can't help it, but I'm not a judger. I'm not a judger because I have friends from all walks of life. They all look different. They all have different viewpoints. And so, yeah, like if I put everybody in a room together, uh, you know, it would be a true, mixed bag because that's me. I have so many sides of me that I relate to so many people and I enjoy people who are not like me. So anyhow, so yes, I will do more videos on each individual piercing and the healing and the pain level, so that maybe there's some fresh content out there. And I know there's more, especially TikTok. Yes, there is fresh content on piercings, but especially at this age. And I will close this video. It's getting long and I talked long, but I saw a post on a person's account, a piercing studios account. It's Dorothy and Jay. They're in the UK. And the topic was, well, actually, no, the image was an older woman getting pierced. And in the comment section on her TikTok, I believe, someone said, oh, that's for teenagers. Why is she, like she got her nose pierced. And the comment was, nose piercings are for teenagers. And that just opened up a whole conversation, I believe on TikTok, although I didn't see the post there, but there was definitely a conversation on Instagram about that, about like what age is too old, of course to get pierced, but just generally just thinking about it. What age is too old to stop caring for yourself and caring about how you look and how you want to present yourself to the world? I think you never stop caring about that. Well, maybe not everyone is into clothes, fashion or, whatever. But I think at whatever age you are or as you age, you're still who you were. That doesn't change. Like your soul, your heart, it kind of remains the same. I mean, outside of trauma and maybe, extenuating circumstances, but you pretty much remain the same. And all that to say is different stages, different phases. And sometimes in middle age, you're able to revisit yourself as well as reinvent yourself. And this is how I reinvented myself a little by having fun with my cartilage piercings. And when I wake up in the morning and when I get dressed or when I'm going out, and I can be like, oh, they look cute. They look cute. Okay, I'm ready. So, anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe it inspires you in middle age, but maybe whatever age you are, is to honor yourself. Like whatever you value, keep that into consideration. But there's always a way to find happiness and joy in yourself and in the body that you live in. So, thank you for listening and thank you for, looking at my piercings because they make me so happy. And look out for individual piercing care videos. Thank you. Bye bye.